Okay, my two last predictions for 2024 are that Republicans will lose the House and take the Senate. And I'll admit, this isn't that like fancy of a prediction. But I did say that I had to be sure on these predictions, and I am very sure about this. As I've said before, Ronna McDaniel is a train wreck. She sucks at her job. She did awful in 2018, awful in 2020, awful in 2022, awful in 2023. And I don't think this election is going to be any different in the House. I do think it will be different in the presidency, but Republicans just have a tendency recently to run bad candidates, and I don't think that's going to change. And I think looking at, there's so many House races, I can't talk about all of them in one sitting, but looking at them, I don't think this race has been any different. I think that as we get closer, we're going to see that in swing states, we're going to lose a lot of conservative House leaders because they are not leaders, really. I say leaders, but they're just not leaders. That's the reason why. You've got like literally George Santos type people who they just aren't that conservative, and they're just not that good at being a politician. They get complicit. They think they're going to win because Democrats believe in stupid stuff like life doesn't begin at conception, and that men can become women. And you think to yourself, oh, well, of course we'll win. And then they lose because Democrats have money and they're really, really good at campaigning. And I don't think that 2024 is going to be any different. And so for that reason, I think the House, we're going to lose, and it is unfortunate. But I do think the Senate, on the other hand, looks very good. And I want to show you something. I'm going to pop it up on the screen right now. What you're looking at right now are all of what is considered kind of the at-large races in the Senate race going into 2024.
Hello everybody, as you can see I am not in the studio right now, I am in my garage, where I want to share with you how my wife and I keep our stuff organized going into the new year. We use smart labels, an easier way of storing those Christmas decorations and lights so we don't lose them again next year. First, you just slap a label on your bin, download the free Smart Labels app, create your first smart label, add the items you have in your bin or box, and later search for your stuff when you need it without having to climb over boxes. The best part, the first year is free. So go get your smart labels now at Amazon or Walmart.com.
These are all the people that could potentially switch, okay? There's a lot more people that are, up for re-election, but these are in seats that aren't going to switch at all. If you look at this list, you're going to notice that there's only 2 red dots. Who are these red dots? We have Rick Scott and Ted Cruz. They're saying that the only Republicans and this is according to 270towin.com, by the way. I think their stuff is super reliable, so I definitely trust them. And these are pretty much all the swing states, so I think this is totally accurate. But I'm sorry, Ted Cruz and Rick Scott are not losing their re-election. I'm sorry. Like, Florida's getting more and more red by the day. Texas, not so much, but Ted Cruz is not gonna, he's gonna get reelected. It is the way it is. So, again, the only 2 Republicans that are up for grabs are going to win. The rest of the people that could potentially lose are all blue. You have Joe Manchin's seat. That's definitely going blue, in my opinion. Bob Casey, I think there's a really good shot that switches. I think there are a lot of people on here that probably won't switch. But, again, it's 49 to 51 right now in the Senate. You need exactly 2 people to switch, and you have a strong majority. And I think right here what you're seeing is there are potentially 3 or 4 that could swap, and Republicans could pick up a massive victory in the Senate. One thing that bringing it a little bit more local to me, in my native state of Utah, we have Mitt Romney, who is retiring. And everybody knows that Mitt Romney has kind of become a bit of a rhino, to put it lightly, over the years. And so I think that not only do Republicans have the opportunity to flip some of those Democrat seats in those swing states, but they also have the opportunity to take out people like Mitt Romney, who are not running again, and run much more conservative candidates who don't work with Democrats in the same way that Mitt Romney did. My last prediction for 2024, guys, is that we will see a huge decrease in traditional legacy media viewership and an even larger increase in alternative media sources than we saw this year. People are sick of media, of the media's lies. It's crazy, from CNN saying a Jew fell on a sidewalk when in reality he was killed by a pro-Hamas protester, to the New York Times covering for the Biden family and all of their craziness and the Hunter Biden cases and Joe Biden working with him in Ukraine. People are sick of it. They're sick of the New York Times. They're sick of CNN. They're even sick of conservative cable news like Fox News, who literally posted a story about trans kids on their network. These are companies that are bought out by BlackRock CEOs. They're bought out by the executives who are literally running the COVID cult that we saw in 2020 and 2021. And so I think alternative media is going to continue to thrive. I believe the numbers are going to become exponentially greater than even this year. And again, this is part of my commitment as someone who is in alternative media going into 2024. I'm not censored by BlackRock, company sponsors, or woke executives. I will not be sponsored by big tech or by big pharma because I don't believe in being censored by my sponsors. My sponsors that I have, I should say a word on this, that I have for my show are fantastic people. I love them. I believe in what they're doing. They do not agree with me politically, and that's okay because that used to be how it was in America. It wasn't always that we had to just agree with everybody politically or that someone had to censor the person that they were sponsoring because they are nervous that they might say something that doesn't align with their company motto. Instead, you can literally just enjoy the fruits of capitalism where you scratch each other's backs and it doesn't matter so much about the politics. This is what I'm committing to all of you in 2024. And I think there's a lot of people like me. I know I'm not the only one who believe in the same principles. And I think people are really galvanizing behind that. For that reason, in 2024, we're going to see a huge decrease in legacy media viewership and a huge increase in alternative media. I do want to talk about the first sponsor of this podcast, Gulag America. Gulag America is a premium apparel brand for patriots, which I partnered with. They're a fantastic veteran-owned company that I love. I'm going to put some of their shirts and different apparel up right now. They have fantastic designs. Their stuff lasts. It's also very affordable, so go check them out again at gulagamerica.com. Use my code JoshCar10. You'll get 10% off all their stuff. Again, that's at gulagamerica.com. Use my code JoshCar10.